Yeah, I don't know the final number. I haven't seen the stats yet, but I thought our D-line really created a lot of pressure, and we knew, with such an efficient quarterback like Keith, that that was the big thing for us, is could we not have to sacrifice coverage, and could we get pressure with our front, and those guys did a great job. They were all over the place today.
Did you think that you had an edge in that matchup going in?
You never know. I mean, and it's how the game plays itself out. If you're getting there with 4, then you can continue to go with 4. If you don't get in there with 4, then you got to bring an extra guy, and then you got to kind of sacrifice some coverage things. But that's how the game plays itself out. And I thought Wade Kilkeepy early made some big plays for us, and allowed us to kind of stay, kind of with the game plan that our coaches on defense felt we could execute. So.
Jeff, how do you think your guys handled the noise tonight and everything with the atmosphere of the last game?
I thought they did a good job, and we knew what it was going to be like, but we play in a real loud environment ourselves, and really it's our defense, and here was our offense had to adjust to it, but, we kind of felt that playing in that first game down in the neutral site game down in Dallas in front of the LSU fans, I think kind of put us in a position that our guys were kind of used to that. So.
How did Darren play? It looks like that brace restricts him a little bit movement-wise.
I thought Darren did a decent job, and again, a couple drops. A lot of times that's not the quarterback's fault. He's putting the ball on people. A couple drops, keep those drives alive, drop the touchdown pass. But I thought Darren did a really nice job, especially one thing he can do is he really understands how to manage a game, gets the ball in the right kid's hands, just that fluke play where the ball just slipped off his hands, and, those things happen. So.
Does that brace restrict him, Chip?
You can talk to him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't restrict me, so ask him.
Those guys both talked about kind of shaking off a little rest last week. Do you think the offense is still dealing with that a little bit, or do you feel like they were all the way back?
No, I don't know. I just care that we won 34-17, and we're real happy about it. When I told those guys I was so proud of their performance, I'm going to give them an extra hour's sleep tonight. So.
How important was that third quarter drive, the first possession?
It was big, and that's what we talked about at halftime, Adam. Real good question is that, we were up 7. They got momentum because they scored late. And that always happens. Whoever scores late in the second half, in the second quarter, it looks like they have momentum. And then we missed the field goal. I thought we did a decent job of driving down, putting ourselves in a field goal situation. We missed the field goal. They go running off the field real excited. We knew we were getting the ball in the second half. And then that was a big thing. Could we stem the tide and try to keep the crowd out of it if we can take the ball and drive down the field and score? And to do it the way we did, coming off of the penalties on the kickoff return, really was the offense kind of boom, boom, boom. And when we can get into a rhythm, those guys, they play with a lot of confidence, and then they answered, but we had to answer back. So I think the way we played in the third quarter, I was really impressed with our guys and how they handled that situation.
What was that new pitch on the handoff that seemed to just kind of off to the side? Is it a new wrinkle? How did that
just different wrinkles, depending on who we play. Sometimes you put in new plays depending on what fronts and things you're going to play. So I thought our guys handled that pretty good.
Montana with the big completion, and then they have the guy open.
Yeah.
A nervous moment there.
There's a lot of nervous moments out there, but you don't expect the backup quarterback to come off the bench and drop a 53-yarder on you, but maybe that last name does mean something. So.
What was the biggest key to limiting Polk's breakaway speed and things like that?
I think our guys did a good job of tackling, and that's the one thing with Chris that when you watch him on tape is he's such a strong runner that he can run through, and he gets a lot of yards after contact. And I think our guys, by and large, for the most part during the day, when they got to him, the first guy either got him down or held on so the rest of the posse could come. But I also think the way our defense ran to the ball, it always seemed like there was a ton of white jerseys flying to the football. And when we play with that effort on defense, we know we got a shot.
Hey, Chip, D'Anthony and Kenyon I don't think they even touched the ball offensively in the first half, but they provided some spark in the third quarter.
6 minutes on offense.
That was the reason why.
But we had 17 points. We weren't on the field very often and we were out. I think we had 20 snaps total. So it was just kind of a weird deal, and sometimes that happens in a game, and usually by the end of the game it seems to even things out. And then I thought Kenya made some real nice runs there, especially in the third quarter that went spelling LaMichael. But everybody knows LaMichael's our guy, and we're going to see where he is. And when he's tired, then we're fortunate we can bring some other guys in, and we got the Anthony in on a pitch, and I thought Kenyon again did a nice job. But we're going to ride 21 as long as we can.
About as good as your defense has played. I mean, that was a really good offense out there that you were.
Yeah, it may be, George. It really. And I think, we're young, but those kids keep getting better and better and better in all phases. And to see what we were playing with at linebacker today because of the injury situations, and Blake Thompson's running around out there, Anthony Wallace is running around out there, and it really, it's kind of our motto, next guy in, and these guys really they buy into it, and when they understand if you play with great effort, that can make up for a lot of different things, and I think the effort levels where it needs to be in this stretch we got coming up. I mean, it's got to be the same every single week because we got some couple good teams, you know, as we continue to go here. So
old dependable David Paulson had a big catch for you on third down there in that third quarter.
Yeah,
how big was
he had
that?
a lot of big catches for us, and that's the way David's always been since he's been here, and just a quality kid, you know, just he never says boo. He just goes out. He practices every single day, and just came up with some big time catches for us. And you know, he did the same thing 2 years ago. I think we converted a 3rd and 23 2 years ago up here, and David made a huge catch down the middle that spurred a drive for us. But he always seems to make a big play when he comes back up to here.
How do you feel like your team's playing now, Chip? I mean, obviously you got to win. You're going into the showdown next week. Everybody knows it's a huge showdown. How do you feel about your team right now?
My big concern is it's not a rivalry game, so I'm not sure how our team will respond. So that's a joke. Please don't get mad at me for that one. But I mean, all right. I think our kids are playing with great effort. You know, we're going to make mistakes, and that's what happens in this game. Everybody makes mistakes. But, you know, I think if you can get your kids to play hard, and that's what our guys do, then we got a shot. And we got a huge test this week. And, again, it's like we always talk about going on the road to win is a real difficult deal, and we got to go down to Stanford. You know, the only game we've lost in conference play in the last 3 years is at Stanford. And unfortunately, the same kid's playing quarterback, so we got to go back and play him again. So we'll see what we do, but it's all about our week of preparation, and we'll come back and it should be a heck of a game.
A lot of emotions tonight that